Shalom alumni. I'm sitting on campus, actually on the first day in which most of the school is back on campus, in the midst of renovations and renewal of the building. The Beit Midrash is being renovated and other places on campus are being renewed. And we're right before Yom Kippur, and it's such an apt metaphor for me for what's going on inside of all of us. There's a process of renovation and renewal that we undertake every year at this time. And as I look at the physical plant that's being renewed and look forward to the outcome, and of course I hope you will all come and be part of the new Beit Midrash, whether it's coming for the summer program or coming for a morning's learning or a week's learning or whatever you're able to. I hope you will be part of the savoring of an extraordinary Makom Torah that's being created. And as I look at the results that we're looking forward to, and as I think back to the very beautiful Beit Midrash that we had, which had certain lacks, but was wonderful Makom Torah, and as I look at the rubble around us in the middle, I've been thinking of a Yerushalmi that I'd like to share with you. It's a Yerushalmi in Makot, in which 3 addresses are asked, what is the punishment for sin? Chokhmah, wisdom, is asked, what's the punishment for sin? And wisdom takes a pasuk from Mishlei and says, evil will pursue the sinner. The point isn't punishment. The point is that someone who sins creates a certain surroundings within which he leads his lives, and the surroundings are not pleasant. They include pain, they include difficulty, a lack of pleasantness, and the sinner has to deal with the environment that he himself has created. The same question is asked to Nevuah, to prophecy. Sha'aluna Nevuah chotei ma onsho. Prophecy was asked, what's the punishment of the sinner? And prophecy answers prophetically with a pasuk from Yechezkel that the sinning soul will die. That is what will happen in the future. Each one answers in its own language. Chokhmah in its language, Nevuah in its language. But then the same question is posed to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Chotei ma onsho. And God refuses to answer the question, what is the punishment of the sinner? And he says, let him do tshuva, and he will be atoned for. The sinner finds himself sometimes with rubble around him, sometimes with pain, with difficulty, with frustration around him. And Hashem is not interested in the natural outcome. Hashem is not interested in the future that is intended. Hashem wishes us to correct. And I think that I personally derive the capability of correcting from a Maharal that I'd like to share with you, which may be as impactful for you as it is for me. The Maharal comments on Rav Yosef's words in the Gmar in Bava Batra. Rav Yosef says, Luchot v'shivrei luchot hayu munachim ba'aron. The second tablets, the second tablets of the 10 Commandments, the second luchot, were placed by Moshe in the ark. And Rav Yosef teaches us from a drasha that he derives from a particular pasuk that the first tablets, the broken tablets, were there also. And the question, of course, begs, wouldn't we prefer just to bury the memory of sin, to bury the memory of our betrayal of God. Here is Moshe above receiving the Torah from God, and when he came down the mountain, he broke the luchot when he saw Israel dancing around the egel, dancing around the golden calf. Isn't it a moment that we wish to forget? And the broken tablets remind us of our sins. Says the Maharal, no. The broken tablets actually remind us that we were once worthy to get those tablets. They remind us of what we achieved before the sin. Not of the sin itself. They remind us of the status quo ante. And the importance of remembering the status quo ante is, if once upon a time I reached a certain high level, I can do it again. And I think for you, our alumni, who are conducting your lives in the real world, you have challenges that face you. And I'm sure there are times when you think back longingly to the Beit Midrash, and you think of its holiness, you think of the goodness of all of the, you think of the goodness of the people who surrounded you, and you think of our goals of loftiness, of spirituality, of fulfilling all of the details of the mitzvot, and I'm sure that's much more difficult when one is living in a more complex environment. And my bracha to you, my wish to you, is that if you ever see shattered dreams, if you ever see disappointed expectations, let those be your shivrei luchot. Let those be your shattered tablets. And let them remind you of the yearnings you had beforehand, because if we remember those wonderful yearnings, if we remember the holiness of the Beit Midrash, if we remember our striving in Torah, it enables us to renew those strivings. It enables us to reach once again for those heights. So in these days of reaching, of striving, of renovating, I want to wish you and your families a Shana Tova. May this be a year of connecting with the best of our hopes, and may it be a year in which each one of you and your families merit receiving God's best blessings. Shana Tova, Gmar, Chatima Tova.